Live from our hurricane headquarters with real-time analysis from some of the nation's top meteorologists, this is Tracking the Tropics, powered by Bose Electric.
Joining us on this episode of Tracking the Tropics. We are watching the tropics like a hawk before not much going on, and we like that. And so that's what we're going to continue to hope for as we make our way through the season. We're joining us right here from the WFLA Stream Center. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Tracking the Tropics. I want to introduce you to our special guest. It's our featured meteorologist for this episode of Tracking the Tropics. It's from our sister station. It's meteorologist Hannah Rahner. Hannah, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Good afternoon. This is my second time, so super fun. I'm very excited to be here. Currently in Myrtle Beach, but thankfully Florida's not dealing with anything tropical. We're not dealing with anything tropical, so it's always nice to talk about something nice and quiet.
Yes, and Myrtle Beach can be a hot spot, especially when we're in a pattern like we are this year where we have so many Atlantic storms, so many storms making that early turn to the north. And I know you guys probably dealt with some wind and erosion and rip currents so far from kind of those near misses, but so far, no direct impact.
Yeah, thankfully, we did have Chantal, but that was just a tropical storm. We have dealt with that pretty frequently. So all of our longtime residents, all the natives, that was never anything that they needed to worry about. Then there was the near miss with Erin. That was definitely some high rip currents that impacted the Outer Banks a little more than us. And then Imelda, not even that long ago, but mostly it's just been the rough surf. Surfers think it's awesome, but still some surfers have even been rescued along our coastline from these rip currents. So we've been fortunate, but technically still some indirect impacts.
And I can't help but hear you might have a special guest around too.
Yeah, a little bit. I thought it would be better lighting to kind of go outside just because my shift is over at like 9:30 in the morning. So, because I'm a morning person. So, he's just naughty. He's never going to not be naughty.
Feel free to include him if you want. We love dogs here on Tracking the Tropics. And I want to remind our audience this is an interactive episode. If you want to ask a question, leave a comment, ask us if your cruise is going to be okay in 2 weeks in the Bahamas. You do have to use the hashtag #HeyHannah or #HeyRebecca for us to be able to pull your comments in the system. We love our TikTok live audience. We love our Facebook live audience, and we want to help you guys out get through the rest of hurricane season, hopefully just as smooth as we have so far. And, that has been wild in the Pacific. You and I were talking about that before the stream started.
Yeah, we did kind of talk about it too. The first time that I was on was still when things were quite early in the season, but the Pacific has been really going through their list of names a lot faster than we have, thankfully. But so far they're up to 19 named storms. 15 is their normal, so they're definitely seeing above average in that regard. 11 of them have been hurricanes and 4 of them have been major. 4 major hurricanes is pretty normal, but again, there's still been a lot of other weaker systems pushing them to that above average season so far. But 19 is kind of a lot, obviously, but that has happened somewhat frequently in recent years. In 2022, they also had 10 hurricanes and 4 majors. So that was actually a fairly fairly typical, or rather like very similar, we should say, compared to what the Pacific is seeing so far in 2025. In 2021, there was also 19 named storms, but only 2 of them were major, so kind of less busy in that regard. But nothing quite compares to 2018, where they had 23 named storms, 10 major hurricanes. So one thing about the East Pacific is that there is not a lot of land for those storms to hit. Yes, they can curve more north and go into Mexico. Even California has seen some impacts like from Hurricane Hillary in recent years. But really, it's kind of just Hawaii that has to hone in and really focus on what's going on in the East Pacific. So, those 10 major hurricanes did not hit land every single time, which was good. I could not imagine tracking 10 major hurricanes in a season here in the Atlantic. And thankfully, we've tracked some, but not 10. So that is a positive in that regard.
Exactly. It's been just heartbreaking to see some of the flooding that's been going on in Playa Vallarta and those other areas, that just monster systems that crank up in the Pacific. We get our fair share of storms, and especially this season, it's been a little bit more enjoyable to watch because they have been fish storms. We've had some monster Cat 5s out there that just sat there for days and days and days. And so when you look at the storm statistically, it is going to end up being above average when it comes to the ACE, the accumulated cyclonic energy, but it was all out there affecting no one. So that's what we always talk about, when we get those seasonal predictions, is it doesn't really matter how many storms there are. It matters how many come close to you and potentially affect you. And so that's one of those things that we get very, very worried about at the beginning of the season. And this time of the year, we're starting to go, ooh, it might be a good year. It might be a good year.
I think we're going to end up pretty lucky. October is usually when they start forming a little bit closer to the U.S. I know you're going to give us a full breakdown on everything that's going out there. There is a named storm out there, but also October is typically where we're watching the Caribbean and the Gulf and really trying to hone in on what's going on there. And it's very, very quiet. I found some stats on that too. I'll let you, go ahead, talk about Lorenzo hanging out, doing a whole bunch of nothing, but we kind of have to talk about how weird it is that there's nothing in the typical hotspot for October too.
Exactly. And so let me get through what is going on with Lorenzo really quickly here. And so it's a tropical storm. It's expected to remain a tropical storm. It is out in the middle of nowhere. It's going to stay in the middle of nowhere. It's doing some pretty weird curvature. You can see it's the path there just takes it through just a little part of that system. But what we're looking at is that it will eventually recurve a little bit further. And so I want to bring it to your attention that we do have the potential for this storm to curve back around to its original origin point. And so that's one of the interesting parts of this system. I'm just going to get it pulled up right here for you, and so that I can click through it a little bit more quickly, because unfortunately my clicker is not picking up from over here. And so we will have to change the batteries on that. But Lorenzo, right in the middle of an area that we don't see a lot of typical formation. And so that is one of the things that we will be talking about a lot when we pull Hannah back in, because their typical formation zones have been atypical all year long. And so all year long, we've seen storms forming where we typically don't see storms forming. And we also see the potential for the Tropical Storm Lorenzo. It's moving to 45 miles per hour to the northwest at 15 miles per hour. So that's a fast moving storm. Tropical storm going to remain at tropical storm strength, never really even getting close to hurricane strength. So this is underperforming what the original model guidance showed us. We originally showed it getting really close to hurricane strength. But I wanted to show you the spaghetti models, because we love spaghetti models here on Tracking the Tropics, and that's exactly what we're seeing. I wanted to show you that weird loop that we expect Tropical Storm Lorenzo to make, eventually kind of getting back to an origin point there. And so making the full loop out there in the Atlantic. And when we do see storms that form in this zone, they often make very atypical moves, because the typical steering currents that exist across the Atlantic, like the Bermuda High and like the intertropical convergence zone and those types of things that typically steer the hurricanes kind of down a familiar path, they're not in effect in those locations. And so that's why we see weird loops and weird stalls and that sort of a thing when you see storms forming as far north as Tropical Storm Lorenzo is. Now, I know you're seeing some crazy social media posts about the next tropical wave. Well, you've been seeing crazy social media posts all season long, because people don't have anything to talk about and they monetize their accounts, and if they don't post, they don't get paid. And so they're posting the GFS 17 days out. Well, the GFS always shows formation somewhere 17 days out, and it never happens. And so this is the next tropical wave to watch, and we will be watching it closely. But if you follow the GFS that does go that far out, it places a different solution every single model run. So there's no consensus. There's no real reason to believe that this would be anything. What we look for are ensembles that generally show the same thing, and that tells us the next hot spot to watch. And with the ensembles right now are saying the next hot spot to watch, and it's not a strong signature. It's just a weak signature, but it's to the south of the Hispaniola and Cuba, that little area, because it does have very warm sea surface temperatures. And the Google DeepMind AI, the new Google AI model, has the formation a little bit further south than that on the ensembles. But once again, that is not a strong signature this far out. And so we're certainly not looking for anything significant to form. But this is the next area to watch. And it could be something that never forms. It could just be a tropical wave, because it's battling a ton of wind shear in that location. It would be very difficult for it to form. The European shows no rotation, just messy showers all the way until it gets to the south of Hispaniola. Even then, No rotating winds, just showers and thunderstorms. And so the future wind gusts showing some of that shear that's out there, but no really strong signatures. All the strong winds that it's showing are basic low pressure systems that are rolling off New England this time of the year. And so a lot of times our focus does shift to those storms this time of the year a little bit further north because that's what's going on out there. This is the wind shear forecast, and this is showing you where Lorenzo is right now, and it's expected to travel north, battling a ton of wind shear there, never going to really see anything. And then look across to the south of Lorenzo, because that's where that next tropical wave has to battle through to potentially form. And so that's why it's even less likely that we'll see any formation out of that. If it do, it would be after it passes the Windward and Leeward Islands and gets to the south of Hispaniola, because as you can see from this map, that's where all the energy is at this point. Look up at the Gulf. It's actually started to cool a little. And so usually we're last to the party when it comes to the cooling, but just to the south of Cuba is the pocket of the hottest water in the Atlantic and Gulf right now. And so this is what Hannah was talking about, our typical formation zones, and this is where we normally see it this time of the year. And what I do think is a plausible scenario this year is that we could see a storm forming on the tail end of a front that pushes through. We see that sometimes, and so that would be forming pretty close to land if it happened in the Gulf, and pretty close to land if it happened in the Atlantic. If the good news is if it happened in the Atlantic, it would be pulling away from land at that point.
Yeah, definitely a great point there, because we have, unfortunately, especially in parts of Florida, have been burned like Hurricane Michael. That was back in 2018. That was an October hurricane, and that was one where there was not a lot of time. So you still have a lot of energy that's in the Gulf right now, so it doesn't take a lot of time for systems to organize, especially if conditions are even more conducive with being low wind shear. That's why, the Gulf, one, not far proximity to the United States, which is why we need to be watching that one a lot closer. But it is quite weird that there has been nothing at all, not even earlier in the season, because sometimes in the Gulf, even back in June, you can usually get some weaker tropical storms. We had Alberto do it last season. So, it's not atypical to have stuff in the Gulf. It's weird that we don't, to be quite honest. So I tried to go back a little bit earlier today just to see, was there another hurricane season in recent years that did have a lack of anything, not even like a tropical depression, but saw absolutely nothing during the whole hurricane season. I went back to 2015 when there was only one, and it was just a tropical storm. That was Bill, and it went into Texas. It formed in the Gulf. If you want to go even beyond that, that's 1997. But the only season that I found where there was actually nothing to form in the Caribbean or in the Gulf was back in 1962. I didn't want to go further than non-satellites. So weather satellites went up in 1960. So it's kind of like my cutoff point. But 1962 was the only other season to not see named storms in Gulf or in the Caribbean. So those two main areas that, again, are hotspots for October have definitely been lacking. But, it's definitely still possible. With it being mid-October, the further and further that we get throughout the month, the less likely it is going to be. But, last year we had Hurricane Milton. That was a monster storm that honestly wasn't around for too long, but quickly organized into one of the strongest systems that we had seen in nearly 2 decades. And that did bring impacts to Florida. That anniversary was just a few days ago on October 10th. So that, and before that, Nicole in 2022 hit the other side of Florida, and that was all the way in November. So, hurricane season is through November 30th. We always got to keep that in mind. We're not out of the woods yet, but it's becoming more and more unlikely day by day.
I'm so glad that you brought up similar seasons, and I do want to build a similar graphic to this. I'll probably have it next week for you guys. This is at the beginning of the season. We talked about how we hoped that this was like the 2010 hurricane season. If you remember, during the summer and the spring, we were having a southern heat wave. So did the 2010 season. That kind of drove a lot of energy away from some of the other typical areas that we see the energy forming. And so in 2010, they only had one storm in June, and it was Alex, and it made landfall in Mexico. We also had that early season storm that caused such terrible flooding in Texas. And so it was similar in that aspect. In 2010, they only had 2 in July, and their only storm that made landfall in the continental U.S., other than that two right there, was Bonnie. And so Bonnie made impact in Louisiana. And so we still haven't seen any activity like that. So that's what makes us more like 2015 than 2010. It did pick up in late August. We didn't really see much of that. But when it did pick up, it was all fish storms, which we did see a lot of that. And then we didn't see much in September at all in terms of activity in 2010. They exploded. They saw a ton of fish storms. But just think about how quiet it must have felt at that point in 2010 to have not seen any landfalling systems. And I just saw the statistic. It's the first time in 10 years since that 2015 hurricane season that we didn't see a September hurricane make landfall in anywhere in the continental U.S. And 2010 was also like that. And then October stayed active for 2010, but once again, it wasn't anywhere near the continental U.S. And then November had one last storm. So this 2010 season was also heavy on fish storms, much like we were, and low on U.S. landfalls. And so I am going to be more interested to see how 2015 shapes up when I break it down month by month like that, because I think that helps us kind of understand the overall patterns. And unfortunately, we are getting a little close on time, so we have to launch our Q&A session. And so ask a question, use a hashtag, and we can pull your questions here on the screen and answer them for you. The first one, hashtag, hey Hannah, any chance Lorenzo becomes a hurricane?
Well, previously when Lorenzo was first being forecast, it was expected to be like a high-end tropical storm. With each model that's coming out and out, it's going to be less and less. So it looks likely that Lorenzo is just going to stay kind of like a mid-tier tropical storm. Right now, the winds are at 60, or at least they were this morning when I was at work. So it was only forecast to be up to 65. So Lorenzo looks like it's going to do a whole lot of nothing, just like the last Lorenzo that we had back in 2019, because that was the last time we saw Lorenzo. And it did the exact same thing. It was a lot stronger back in 2019, but it stayed way out to sea, just like this one is going to do. So looks likely this one is going to be missing that hurricane status, and can't complain about that. One less hurricane to track.
Exactly. 0 hurricanes. And so get those questions and comments in on us using the hashtag Hey Rebecca or hashtag Hey Hannah. This one coming from Jennifer, hashtag Hey Rebecca, anything happening in the Gulf? And we were just talking about how weird it is that nothing's happening in the Gulf. Even in the long-term forecast models, nothing really happening in the Gulf. So we're pretty happy about that. But that is one of our typical formation zones that we may see something happening, especially as those late October fronts start to push through. Sometimes they spin up a little tropical system in the Gulf or in the Atlantic, as they push past. And so that's kind of what I'm watching for, more so than that other tropical wave that's rolling off the coastline of Africa. I think there's just way too much shear in the Atlantic right now. What do you think, Hannah?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. If we think back to the whole hurricane season, again, even early June is when you watch for minimal activity in the Gulf, but still you can get some. But I mean, if we think of the tropical weather outlooks that the National Hurricane Center has been giving us all season, there's been a lack of anything, not just even, of course, something organizing into like a named storm, because that hasn't happened. But even when we just talk about areas of interest, clusters of thunderstorms, we haven't really seen many of those. Those that we do see are either going right into Mexico and they have a low chance of developing, or we just haven't seen anything at all. But it's definitely very unusual. Again, 1962 was the last hurricane season to not have a system form in either the Caribbean or the Gulf. So it's shaping up to be a weird hurricane season, but technically we're still going to end up kind of normal, because the normal is 14 named storms and Lorenzo makes 13. So I know that it seems like we haven't had anything this hurricane season. It's shaping up to be pretty close to normal in terms of the number of storms, but locations have been pretty atypical. And again, we've been very fortunate to not have landfalls. Florida, down there in Florida, Rebecca, I think you guys need a break after last season. You got hit 3 times on just the Gulf Coast. So,
yeah, our standard line has been, it's not our turn. It is not our turn. We took our turn. We're still rebuilding for Milton and the flooding that we saw from Helene, and we even forget that we had that earlier storm because Helene and Milton were so bad. All right, next comment and question, hashtag Hey Hannah, if Lorenzo curves around, can it affect the wave down there? And so that we were talking about that very atypical curve we expect out of Lorenzo.
Yeah, so we kind of showed it a little bit on the wind shear map. So Lorenzo itself is going to be battling kind of some wind shear, but if it does decide to make that full loop and stay organized, because it's definitely still possible that as Lorenzo is making the curve, it's kind of like disintegrating because it is kind of fighting some wind shear. But likely, if it does, get down more to the south where that other wave is, it would be a positive, impact rather, and that it would kind of prevent that other one from developing. It would just make it that much harder for that next wave to try to get going, which, is even more positive news. So, looks pretty okay out there that we don't need to.
Exactly. Hashtag Hey Rebecca, this one coming from Anthony. Hey, hashtag Hey Rebecca, the sea surface temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico, had they dropped enough being that we had a cold front to support any kind of system for the remainder of the year? And while we have started cooling off in the Gulf, we haven't cooled down enough to where we couldn't see any tropical activity. The tropical activity that is most likely for us to see in the Gulf at this point, given the sea surface temperatures and where we are in the season and how the atmosphere changes as we start to transition into fall, is if a cold front were to push through, we may see a tropical system form on the tail end of it, either the tail end of it that's in the Gulf or the tail end of it, kind of the front of it, if you will, that enters the Atlantic. Sometimes we see those, but if that were to occur, it would be relatively close to land. And so even we don't tend to take those systems quite as seriously as the ones that have days and days and days to strengthen. Rapid intensification is possible, but the cooler our sea surface temperatures get, the less likely rapid intensification is. And so I don't think we've gotten to the threshold where that's not a possibility yet, but it's looking like less likely as we get into the fall. All right. And I think Hannah already kind of addressed this one. Hashtag Hey Rebecca, could Lorenzo turn back around and re-strengthen? And so Hannah, you were talking about how if whatever's left of Lorenzo gets down there, it could be a positive for that next tropical wave.
Yeah, so if Lorenzo is making that full curve and staying together while it does so, because again, as Lorenzo is turning, it's still interacting with wind shear. So Lorenzo is probably deteriorating at this time. So Lorenzo is getting weaker, but also it's still going to be dragging some of that wind shear down, or it's also generating its own wind shear, which for a tropical system trying to develop, that's basically bad news for the system, but good news for us, because that would prevent any strengthening or organization of that secondary wave that is behind it. So Lorenzo is just a name that we're going to cross off the list. We're going to watch it do its loop-de-loop, because it's always interesting when storms do that, that's for sure. But it seems like we're going to be okay as we finish up this week and even the next 10 days from now.
All right. And we only have a few more minutes left. So last call for your questions and comments. And I'm going to toss this one to Hannah. 47 days until the end of hurricane season. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this season? And what do you want people to know?
Sorry about him. Of course, there's like a squirrel or a bird out. I thought he was going to be better if I actually brought him outside, but clearly that's not the case. But I think we're going to end up being pretty okay. Nemo, come here. Come here. Hi. Say hi.
Yeah, let's say hi.
But I think we're going to end up
Oh,
pretty okay when it comes to hurricane. Yeah.
Okay, this is the only way you're allowed to do Tracking the Tropics moving forward.
Oh, good. That's great. But yeah, 47 days can't come soon enough, to be honest. I did want to point out that for anybody who's watching in Myrtle Beach, the anniversary of Hurricane Hazel is tomorrow. So Hazel is one of those systems that just goes to show that even though it feels like fall, feels really great outside, you can't let your guard down. Obviously, we don't have a Hurricane Hazel coming towards us, but we have still had a major hurricane make landfall in the middle of October, and that was back in 1954. So long time ago, the anniversary is tomorrow.
Whew. Yes, we hate to see those anniversaries, but sometimes it is a good reminder of how everyone came together after the storm and rebuilt, and how homes are stronger now, structures are stronger now, and hopefully we don't have to rebuild anything anytime soon.
No, absolutely not. That is always going to be the goal there.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and especially thank you for sharing your adorable dog with us. I am going to wrap it up here at the Stream Center. If you have any further questions or comments, you can hit up Hannah's Facebook and she will answer any questions for you. You can hit up her social media there. If nothing forms between now and next Tuesday, that is the next time we will fire up Tracking the Tropics, and not looking likely. There's no formation expected over the next 7 days. So we'll keep an eye on Lorenzo. We'll keep an eye on that secondary system as well. But as for Hannah and I, thank you for joining us on Tracking the Tropics.